Well, good afternoon. Bloody hell. Freaking hair today. I got an all day morning hairdo that no comb can get through. I'm like a waterlogged ball. No one wants to kick around anymore. Anyway, you have the privilege of being here while I feed the fish. Even though it is actually like 3:30 in the afternoon. These guys are a bit shy. You have to be really quiet around them. In fact, as you walk away. Nah, they're too shy. I wonder if these guys will like take flake. They don't normally take flake. It's like my setup. This tank, that's why I got the pipes down there. Every few days, I have to siphon out about 50 litres of water because the dehumidifier there removes up to 20 litres per day out of the air. It's just like water from thin air. Pretty cool, huh? And at least it keeps their water reasonably fresh because they're pretty dirty fish. These old silver perch. They're probably due for a decent water change soon too. But I'm still on my recovery phase, as you might want to call it. Getting over the fact that I lost my job, my fucking license, me everything. So, I'm still feeling a bit sorry for myself. God knows what's going to happen when I run out of money, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, eh? Let's just fall on the ground, why don't we? Good thinking. Good thinking. So, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I did make mention to a buddy. I think he said his name's Ron. Ron, my memory is shot to shit at the moment. Do you know it took me like an hour this morning just to try and remember how the fuck I got home yesterday. Yeah, that's the sort of state I'm in at the moment. I hitched back from Bangalow after playing bowls, and I knew I got a ride with somebody, but did you think I could remember? But it did. It eventually came back to me. It was a dude. He only lives around the corner of all places. And it was in a white van, and he had a black beard, not nearly so awesome as mine, but it was, for a young fella, not too bad. Yeah. And for ages when I woke up this morning, I'm just trying to think, how the fuck did I get home? What the fuck did I do? Where did I get picked up? I'm pretty sure it was on the way out of Bangalow. Not too far down the road, but anyway. Shit happens. And I'm only tuning this. I don't intend to play it, but I'm just going to tune it for the fact of doing something while I'm talking, because this Alaskan dude fucked me dead. I'm really... Your name will probably come back to me as soon as I finish talking, but... Anyway, we were talking about the sun and moon, obviously, because these are the biggest challenges, the biggest hurdles on the flat Earth altogether are understanding what the sun and moon are. And as a result, I mentioned, it reminds me of the Norse myth, which I said I'd make a rant about. So that's actually why I'm making this rant, just to, even though I've had this rant before, so if you're familiar with my work, you'd have probably heard this, but I'm going to just reiterate it in my own words. Like, I don't actually know the actual Norse myth at all. I've heard rumours of it, and it sounds a bit like this, and this is something I personally came up with myself, just as another theory of where we are, what we exist on, and all that sort of shit. Because basically, deep down, I'm what you would call a naturalist. I moved up into this region here because it's famous for all its natural healers and natural therapy and massage and yoga and all that sort of stuff, and I came up here with the very intentions of being a naturopath, which is a fancy word for a natural doctor, basically. Somebody that uses herbal medicines as opposed to chemical medicines. So, oh shit. So, I missed the cut-off date the first year round for enrolment, so I thought, oh, that's cool, I'll just do whatever work I can find and hang out with my missus. She picked up a bit of work working in nursing homes and stuff, and she decided to go back to university to finish off her course in nursing, which she dropped out of to move up here with me at the time. And she again dropped out of it, basically because she couldn't handle the injections, which, yeah, that sort of, I can relate to that. I hate injections. You know, breaking the skin deliberately, I think skin, it's a sin, it's a crime, it's absolutely the wrong thing to do, very anti-nature, very anti everything I believe about, for fuck's sake, naturopathy. So I thought, oh well, I'll just take my year off, and found a job. My first job was actually really cool. It was getting $8 an hour cash in hand, working at a local pinball parlour where you had all the old Space Invaders and Galaga. What was it? Something Heroes 2. I never played that one. Never got into that sort of ones, but I loved the pinball. I was a bit of a pinball wizard, I will admit. And what a great job. I could just play them for free all day, or I could just sit there behind the counter and read my books all day and give out a bit of change to the young kids and play a bit of pool, all that sort of stuff. It was just unreal. What a great job, eh? Good way to start, and I sort of enjoyed the lifestyle. And then eventually that place closed down because it got bought out by somebody, one of these big wigs that put in all the $1 and $2 machines instead of the 20-cent and 40-cent machines, and Byron just wasn't ready for all that. It just couldn't afford it, and so the place was going broke. And they offered me a management position down at Coffs Harbour. I said, oh yeah, why not? No, I didn't. What the fuck, man? Get your shit together. Anyway, well, I don't know why the fuck I'm ranting about that shit anyway. I'm meant to be ranting about the Norse myth of creation, which is to do. So this is how the Norse myth, and one I've sort of speculated upon, and I think it makes a bit of sense. So, sorry for ranting on and pulling boogers out my eyes. I've been getting a lot of conjunctivitis lately. My health isn't the best, but you know. So, basically, in the beginning, back in the day before anything existed, everything was ice, black ice, just eternal black ice. That's what existed. And there was apparently some sort of consciousness which is still there, and it's still, whether it be sleeping or whether it be dormant or whether it be awake, just waiting for its moment, there is this deep, dark, black consciousness that existed before God. Okay, and so the beginning of God, and yeah, people say, well, who created God? Well, God created itself by becoming self-aware. It was the first spark of self-awareness which said, I am. And I am was the Word. And the Word was God. And the Word was good. And as a result of self-awareness and being a word, a vibration, it created sonoluminescence. So it was like the first star, the first light. Yeah, I am the way, the truth, and the light. This is what how creation started. And so this self-illuminating light was obviously very alone. But what it did, because it was a light, it created vibration, which creates heat. And so it started to melt the ice surrounding it. And so it became a realm of warmth. And, you know, it's a long story. I don't know if I can even explain it myself, but basically when you create a self-awareness, you create a I don't know, well, every thought is like a sprite that just sort of bounces out and bounces around, and so these sprites are kind of like angels or angles or however you want to call them, and they themselves became self-aware. But of course they were pure thought, they were nothing more than that, but eventually they were sent out to also be creators in their own right. So whatever the original creator created is not necessarily what it itself ended up creating, but what its creations created. And whatever we create, even though we are agents of the creator, we're still creating original stuff in a way. So, long story short, billions and billions and billions of years later, what's ended up happening is the angel of light was created, the sun, who is Lucifer. I've talked about that many, many times, and Lucifer is God's greatest angel, and it acts as a interdimensional portal between heaven and earth. See, the earth realm is the physical plane, the heavenly realm is the spiritual dimension, if you will, and the light of God is so very powerful. I think I've mentioned this before too many times, that Jesus said if you can't even stare into the midday sun without going blind, well, the light of God is like 1,000,000 times brighter than the midday sun, and it would totally annihilate us. So therefore the sun acts as an interdimensional portal to transform the light of God into usable, life-giving light down here in the physical realm. And the physical realm is basically a melted out realm inside this infinite black ice. This is the only place where life exists, and the oceans that we see, there our waters below, the waters above are just frozen in place, and the sun itself is like makes it act like a, say, an igloo type situation that stops everything from turning back into ice again, because that's what would happen if there was no sun. Everything would just freeze up and shrink back into a nothing oblivion. So the Earth realm isn't necessarily an infinite flat plane. It could just be the only pond within the infinite black ice that exists. And so that does kind of make it pretty special. And humans, I'll get to this one. We're not necessarily created as such, but we came into being because we started off as light beings, as spirits. But what happened when we ate physical matter, because we wanted to try everything, that is what transformed our light bodies into physical bodies, which were, you know, not 100% perfect, but as close as you can get. I mean, if you thought we came about from evolution, from, you know, bacteria and fungus and molds and algae and all that sort of shit, there's no way all of our organs could have suddenly just come into being, because every single one depends on the other to work. You've got at least, I think, 10 different organs, not to mention all your, your eyes, your ears, all your 5 senses, all your 6 senses if you've got them, all had to come into being at once, or they were useless on their own. So, did they evolve in incremental steps, a little bit at a time, or did they just all suddenly, instantly happen? And that's the most likely cause. Pardon me, getting a bit of gases here. I might just sing a song after I... Psychics! No, I can't. I haven't got a voice. I've lost my voice. I really have. This really sucks because I love this one. Maybe if I do it a bit slower. Psychics? No, I can't. I've totally fucking lost it. I abused it. I have to pay for my sins. Anyway, I'll put the guitar down and we don't have to think about that anymore. So you can see my beautiful dear Alice, so Prabhu, is sending me some messages there, so I might just get back to her instead. I think I've explained that Norse myth pretty well, how it works. How pretty much all the earth that we know exists is within a great big bubble, or half bubble, of ice. And that earth itself formed from basically bacteria and fungi and all that sort of shit, accumulating and, you know, coalescing and what's that word I'm looking for? Petrifying. And that eventually giant trees once existed here. So what we're seeing today as mountains and whatnot, they're the ancient ruins of what were once giant trees. Yeah, I've run out of talk. I'm stuffed. I'm gonna go take the dog for a walk, I think. Stay cool, stay flat, and see you around.